Hey Yucca, hey Wendy, put that kettle on the stove because we are about to spill some piping hot Animal Crossing tea. If you thought on this channel we were done talking about racism, talking about injustice, talking about oppression, you were wrong. This issue that we are living through, history that we are living through, is not going to continue to get brushed under the rug. Within the last few days, I was given the opportunity to listen to a lot of stories from my African American friends, and let me tell you, they are so tired, and it is so disheartening that they have lost hope, because this is something that doesn't end for them in 2 weeks. This is something that they constantly have to live through and doesn't change or go away, and they are tired of being let down, and that sucks. This is something that they wake up and live every single day. As a country that is built on freedom and on the backs of their people, by the way, continue to treat them with disrespect, continue to oppress them, continue to treat them so unjustly. So guess what? If you are tired of hearing about this, well, don't let Mario's 1,000-year door hit you on your way out. And if you want to continue the movement for change, please take a look at some of the links I am going to leave in the description down below. Please hold your family, your friends, your congregation, your government, your city council, everyone accountable for their actions, and let's continue the movement against inequality and racism in this country. Now let's go ahead and jump into this video. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Valpal. I am so gung-ho that everybody is on board the Animal Crossing train. You know, Conductor Porter, Rover in the booth next to you. Wait, you don't know who any of those people are. It has occurred to me that a lot of new Animal Crossing fans do not know the history of the fandom. So I am here today to enlighten you, to educate you on the telenovela, the chisme of the Animal Crossing world. All of the backstories, all of the tea, it is about to be spilt and rustled around in. So without further ado, let's jump into the backstories of a lot of your favorite Animal Crossing characters. Oh, I have my computer over there with my Pages document set up. It is looking so chef's kiss nice. I have my notes all laid out, and the first character that we are going to jump into is Crazy Red. As some of you may know, Crazy Red runs the black market of Animal Crossing. Crazy Red's first appearance is in the first version of Animal Crossing that was released on the Nintendo GameCube. And unlike the boat that he currently drives in Animal Crossing New Horizons, we found him in a tent. The tent that Crazy Red used then followed him to Wild World. Not only did the tent follow him to Wild World, but so did somebody else. An otter by the name of Lyle. Notice how my eyes get real squinty when we're talking Animal Crossing facts. Lyle has his own insurance agency, and in Animal Crossing Wild World, he shows up at your house one morning wanting to sell you this insurance. And can you guess what the insurance is for? Probably not, so I'm gonna tell you. So the insurance that Lyle sells covers you for a lot of things like tripping, being stung by bees, all for 3,000 bells. So later you encounter Lyle again, where he then tries to up your insurance bill to 6,000 bells. And that payment of 6,000 bells then covers you for purchasing any sort of counterfeit or fraudulent art or artifacts. Now, in the game, it is not outwardly spoken that Lyle and Red are in cahoots. This can be confirmed by the questionnaire that Lyle asks you to fill out when applying for his insurance. In that questionnaire, he asks you what day of the week you would prefer Crazy Red to show up at your island. And guess what happens? Crazy Red shows up on that day on your island. It couldn't be more clear as day. I guess some would refer to this partnership as a get-rich-quick scheme. Now I want you to take the get-rich-quick scheme, fold it up in a little piece of paper, and stuff it somewhere you'll remember for later on in this video. I promise, it's all gonna come full circle. You just gotta be patient. You just gotta keep watching. So we're gonna take a jump from Crazy Red and Lyle to the beloved Tom Nook. We will be circling back later, I can promise you that much. So Tom Nook's first appearance, of course, is in the first Animal Crossing release on the GameCube. Here you can see him in his cute little apron, reppin' Nook's cranny. Although this is our first introduction to Tom Nook, we learned the most about him in the DS version of the game, Animal Crossing Wild World. We know that Tom Nook is a businessman with great, ambitious businessman dreams. Tom Nook speaks about how when he was younger, he took the step in his businessman dream directions and moved to the city. In moving to the city, Tom Nook admits that he made his fair share of mistakes. One of the mistakes that Tom Nook touches on regard a business partner with a get-rich-quick scheme who ended up taking all of his money and running. Now, who do we know as the face behind these get-rich-quick schemes? None other than Crazy Red. If you take a few jumps into the future and take a look at Happy Home Designer, here Tom Nook has a few infamous quotes regarding working with foxes. These quotes are as follows. Have you ever worked with a fox? Yes, foxes are never to be trusted. And another, I've worked with a fox once in my life. Never again. Not after the incident. So if that isn't proof enough that Tom Nook and Crazy Red were once business partners and whose rivalry was caused by such deception, then I really don't know what is. Unfortunately, the experience that Tom Nook had in the city pushed him to become quite depressed. Tom felt like a failure, and he began pushing away even the people who loved him and cared about him the most, stating that even the kind words of his friends hurt him in a time that he felt like he had lost everything. One of the most important people in his life was none other than SABLE. Yes, SABLE as in Mabel, Sable, and label of the Able sisters, but we'll touch on that a little bit later in the video. This experience also encouraged Nook to take some apprentices under his wing. Those apprentices go by the name of Timmy and Tommy. I'm so sorry if the lighting has changed, and my hairstyle has changed. It is later in the day, and I got a snack. Contrary to popular belief, Timmy and Tommy are actually not related to Tom Nook. He took it upon himself to teach Timmy and Tommy the ins and outs of the business so that they didn't run into the same mistakes that he once did. And after successfully guiding the younglings, Tom Nook actually takes a step back from his shop business, leaving it to Timmy and Tommy so he can try his hand at the housing business. And who is at his side, you may ask? None other than the infamous otter Lyle. If we take a step back from Animal Crossing New Leaf and Tom Nook's new endeavors in the housing business, we can take a look at Animal Crossing City Folk. Lyle is working for the Happy Room Academy. Here, Lyle actually expresses how unhappy he is working for the Happy Room Academy. Not only that, but it seems that his antics with Red and his get-rich-quick scheme has finally caught up to him, forcing him to take this more serious and formal job. Fast forward to Animal Crossing New Leaf, it looks like Lyle is there hand in hand with Tom Nook in a new position, the manager of the Happy Home Academy. It seems here that Tom Nook and Lyle have found the common ground between themselves, and although scarred from their past, they find pretty good business partners between each other. Although we have yet to see Lyle in Animal Crossing New Horizons, he plays a pretty significant role in the relationship between Crazy Red and Tom Nook, as well as both of their backstories. Another one of Tom Nook's famous quotes is as follows. Take the big city banks, for example. They will deny a young man a loan, though they know nothing of his character. If you tie that quote in with the history of Tom Nook, you can most definitely thank his misfortunes in the big city for your tax-free and no-interest home loans. With his experiences, Tom Nook has become somewhat of a generous man. In Happy Home Designer, you learn that Tom Nook donates a majority of his bells to charity, and that there is an orphanage a few towns over that has a wing of their facility named after him. A lot of people think that Tom Nook is misunderstood, but there is one individual who doesn't. Some would say she knows Tom Nook quite well, so well that maybe they grew up together? I told y'all, today we were spilling the Animal Crossing tea. Grab your Cheez-Its, grab your string cheese, your trail mix, your Ritz crackers, whatever your preferred snack is, and if you were not listening at all before, now is the time. You are about to be as shook as the San Andreas Fault, my friends, because this is the backstory of the Able sisters and how Tom Nook fits into all of that. I'm sure many of you, having picked up Animal Crossing New Horizons, are quite familiar with the Able sisters. Sable, Label, and Mabel, and in that order. I'm gonna try and piece this together in the best way that I can in regards to the timeline. I apologize if it's a little bit messy. With the Able sisters' backstory, we're going to start with Sable and Tom Nook's relationship. Sable is the only character in Animal Crossing to have known Tom Nook since they were children. Sable and Tom Nook both speak very fondly about their memories with each other, gazing up at the night sky while sharing their dreams and aspirations, and Sable refers to Tom as somewhat of an older brother figure. The two were definitely what we would call best friends. Unfortunately for Sable, the young childhood memories did not last long, as she was forced to grow up and mature quite quickly after the passing of the Able sisters' parents. To follow such a tragic event, her best friend Tom Nook has decided to pick up and head out to the city to pursue his dream of becoming a businessman. Not only that, but Sable and her sister Label end up having quite the argument. This argument leads to Label also moving out to the city to pursue her dreams to become a fashion designer. This is where she meets Gracie, and Gracie convinces her to leave her past behind and change her name from Label to LaBelle. Not long after LaBelle, who I prefer to call Label, and Tom Nook leave Sable's side, Sable becomes very depressed. Now remember when I talked about Tom Nook and the relationships that were changed due to him pursuing his dreams in the city? One of these relationships was with Sable. Although Sable and Tom Nook's relationship will never be the same, and they hardly spoke during this time, they both like to reminisce about continuing to send each other letters. Sable especially likes to talk about a pair of burnt orange scissors that Tom Nook once gifted her. She calls them the best scissors that she's ever owned. Sable also likes to reminisce about all the clothes that she made Tom Nook, and how he loves them and still wears them to this day. In Animal Crossing Wild World, Tom Nook talks about how Sable turned her back on him, but her wise words still guide him. Throughout the franchise, the two continue to speak quite fondly of each other. In Happy Home Designer, by using Sable's amiibo card, Sable talks quite a bit about how she worries about Tom Nook and his loneliness. She also uncovers that Tom Nook has quite the singing voice. We have yet to get any additional pieces to this backstory in Animal Crossing New Horizons, but I am hoping that we see a little bit of a reconciliation between the two, and a joining of forces as well as reblossoming of a friendship. So that takes care of the backstory between Sable and Tom Nook. But let's take it a step back. So far back to Animal Crossing Cityful. This is where you have your first encounter with the missing Able sister, Label. When you take the bus to the city, you actually find that Label is working at the Gracie Grace boutique. Here, you discover that Label has actually began reaching back out to her sisters, as things seem to no longer be going her way, or as she had planned. Mabel then confirms this by expressing to you that she has received a letter from someone in her past. We never really learn exactly what Sable and Label had fought about many years ago, but in these letters, Label admits to being wrong, and wishes to fix things between her and her sisters. In City Folk, that's where that story ends. But if you fast forward to Animal Crossing New Leaf, you find that Label is actually running the accessories department of the Able Sisters shop, which suggests that the sisters are back together. In Animal Crossing New Horizons, Mabel and Sable speak very fondly of their middle sister Label, who they encourage to continue to pursue her dream as a fashion designer. Label visits your island once a week. During this visit, she gives you the opportunity to earn one of her designer pieces from her new designer brand, which is named after no one other than herself. As of right now, there are no more updates regarding the backstories of Tom Nook, the Able sisters, or Crazy Red, or even Lyle for that matter. I myself am very hopeful that the stories continue to develop, and if that's the case, I'm really excited to fit the missing pieces into the story that we currently have. That was just me touching on some of the characters that you might be familiar with in Animal Crossing New Horizons, but there are still quite a few that we haven't touched on and have yet to be mentioned in this new game in the Animal Crossing franchise. Characters such as Brewster, CJ Flick and Daisy May's ancestry, Mr. Rossetti, Cap'n, Tortimer, Gracie, and don't even get me started on the love triangle that is Pete, Pelly, Phyllis, oh my god, Rectangle, Brewster. If you guys would like to see me unfold any of those characters' backstories, just let me know in the comments down below. Even though smaller characters and smaller backstories, they are still super important to the franchise that is Animal Crossing. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I know I enjoyed researching it and filming it for that matter. Don't forget to take a look at the links in the description down below so we can continue the movement against racial injustice and continue to fight for change. I appreciate every single one of you, and I will see you in the next video. Until then, peace out.